It's important what you think, as head of the House Budget Committee, it would start with you, that Medicare should be for everybody, Medicare for all.
I support Medicare for all. What we're going to do in the hearing is explore the options that are available to the country to expand health care to everybody through a Medicare-like program, consider the varieties of how we could do that and what the impact on the budget would be.
All right, that's a $100 billion price tag, some are saying, dwarfing the $5 billion for the wall here. That's just for starters. Among some of the plans, a lot of Democrats are cooking up in the House to help get better health care coverage for Americans, and even revisiting the idea of a higher top rate for individuals, not necessarily the 70% top rate that some have envisioned. Get the read on all of that and what the direction the House is going with senior fellow at the National Taxpayers Union, Mattie Duppler, Democratic strategist Marjorie Clifton. Mattie, he's just new in the job. The House budget chief seems to be saying, though, I'm open to these ideas. Longer term, they'll save money, and Americans will be better off. Your thoughts?
So something to remember about budgets and the way Congress handles them is they are not signed into law by the president. Each chamber writes its own, and under normal order, a House and Senate would reconcile their two budgets. Now, I don't think we'll see a Democrat House and a Republican Senate reconcile their budget plans, but what we do know about budgets is they are really a governing document for the vision that party wants to set for America. We saw this with Paul Ryan when he was budget chairman. He really put forth a lot of the ideas that ended up becoming legislation like tax reform.
Right.
That really framed the debate about what the House GOP was all about. So I expect this to be the same for Democrats. If Democrats want to be serious about some of the ideas that have been bandied about on the campaign trail, like Medicare for all, potentially a Green New Deal, they have to start putting pen to paper and writing it into legislation. I do think they are going to be in trouble when the American public sees that sticker shock about how much those plans will cost. That's the problem with a budget. You need to actually budget the money for what you want to spend.
Are not doing a great job keeping to a budget on it. Marjorie, I do want to get your reaction to something else the Budget Committee chief had said, responding to this growing wave among some, not all, Democrats for a higher top rate. Listen to this. All right, I apologize. I thought we had it. We don't. But Margie, let me cut to the chase here. Yeah. What he talked about was responding to Congressman Cortez's view of a 70% top rate. He wasn't exactly for that, but he did say that the corporate rate has got to be raised, and he'll do everything he can on that front, but did say that it's just a matter of time that other rates go up for the rich, and et cetera. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you have to realize the corporate tax rate was changed pretty dramatically from 35% down to 21%, and that was a big jump that even Republicans went, that's a little aggressive. So the rate that they're talking about is actually between 25% and 28%, which is a little more palatable. I mean, we have by 2020, $1 trillion deficit, and that is nothing to sniff at. And issues that are going to be critical are things like immigration and health care.
Isn't it weird, though, Margie, and I don't blame Democrats, I don't significantly blame Republicans, but both parties have piled up deficits. Both parties are good at talking a good game and getting budgets under control, and both parties have done miserably.
Yeah, that's right. And so I think that there needs to be a new way of looking at that. And it's going to be interesting with a Democratic House, a Republican Senate. How are we going to reconcile the budget? And right now what we're looking at is hitting that deficit ceiling, which March 1 goes into effect, which means automatic cuts across the board. So 11% in defense spending, 9% in all other spending. And there's a lot of people thinking, you know, that may be not a bad thing, because who else is going to come up with a solution?
By the way, that debt ceiling you talk about on March 1st, I mean, they either raise that debt ceiling as they do time and again, or they you know, address it seriously. Mattie, it's one of the reasons why the folks at Fitch Investors, the ratings folks, are saying, you know, your AAA rating, that's not a guaranteed thing. Are they justified in saying that?
Well, you know, Neil, we saw that in 2011, and I would say that we've been at an economic expansion ever since the rating agencies called into question the United States debt rating. Now, I want to revisit what was just said, though, about how you have to deal with the debt limit. Two important things that House Democrats did when they took control. They changed the rules so that they no longer have to have a standalone vote on the debt limit. Instead, the vote on their budget would suffice. So what that means is they can vote for any spending that they want and not say that they want to pay for it, because a debt limit will increase as a result of it. Another thing that House Democrats changed in their rules was dynamic scoring, and that's where you get into an argument about what it means to have a lower corporate tax rate. Remember, we're one of the only countries that we compete with that has state corporate tax rates. So when you look at something like a 25%.
We're not making progress. Margie, real quickly, is it your sense that we're going to blow past that deadline and blow past this debt ceiling?
It's not starting off on the right foot, especially today with Nancy Pelosi and Trump already at odds. So I can't say I feel a lot of promise. I do think there's an important thing to look at with health care. I don't think that Medicare for all is a palatable option, but there are things that we could look at within the Affordable Care Act that would get us in a better place.
All right, ladies, I'm sorry to jump on you. That break comes whether we're yapping or not.
Yep.
More after this.